closer to 6.
That's good.
I'm gonna step out for just a minute and be right back.
Take your kids down the splash pad yet?
I did. They liked it.
Good.
I've tried to tell quite a few people to go down there. It seems like it's a pretty big hit already.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to work pretty well.
It's nice that sensor will kick off and kind of
Ron
like
Morris spoke with
touch it or wave your hand or whatever and it'll kick back on. That's smart.
had a couple of questions.
Yeah, it's all programmed. You can program
I did not.
100 different ways.
Let me read
That
it.
pla- I was looking at it, I was like, I bet eventually that plastic will crack in the sun, but I'm sure they anticipate that.
We gave you the package.
I don't think any of that stuff's very hardy.
The flowers are a little bit different for me, but I'm like, yeah, the kids didn't even notice, they liked it.
All right.
It's already been nailed.
Yeah, just
Are you serious?
real basics.
I went out there, I think Michelle had emailed it open, I think I took the boys the first night, and there was bark kicked on it already.
We can answer this
I'm
question.
like, seriously? So I kinda tried to clean it off the best I could, and then somebody left trash. I did my civic duty and I yelled at her, I said, you're gonna leave trash, this is brand new today, you're leaving McDonald's everywhere for us to pick up? And she's like, what? I'm like, this is your trash, this McDonald's shit is yours. You got a problem with that? I am your city councilor, clean that shit up. And she was apologetic after I let her have it, 'cause I'm like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's a normal everyday deal. We clean up trash and blow the
I
chips
know,
off.
but like, damn, the first day, like, it was the first, I mean, Michelle said it just opened, and I took them that night. I'm like, the first day you're leaving trash?
One of those.
Come on.
The one that spins, it has like 3 that comes out.
Yeah.
It had a big plastic leaf on it, so the kid got up there, went back and forth and broke it off. Then threw it on the ground, broke it.
Okay.
We need to
I
put,
just didn't know, because that's like the safety
We're gonna
protocols for
have the sheriff
us
on camera.
here.
it'd be nice once you get the bathroom up, and then we can maybe put a pole or something, and really have the bathroom with the camera up. Hey,
Okay.
That's
I'll
kind of
be
the problem
right
with
back
it
with
is,
the agenda for ya.
it doesn't have lawn, it doesn't have trees.
How are you?
the only thing I would say is maybe plant some trees eventually, which I'm sure is on the thing. But if the concrete would come a little bit further back, you could like set up chairs, have a little picnic on it rather than being in the
We
bar.
got some pretty big plans for down there, but
It takes time, it takes
it's time
money.
and money.
It's there, it's up, it's something to do, summer's here.
That was kind of the thing is, get it up, get it running, get
Yeah.
it to use it. Is
And
what it
we
is.
can always add to it later, like the trees will be a good idea, but
Yeah, the bathroom's 120 grand.
hopefully we get a grant to help for that.
It's in the works, but
Maybe some trees along the house eventually.
we're gonna put some trees in there in the pavilion, picnic pavilion, and
A nice Leland cypress or something, they'll grow up quick, and large, and nothing.
yeah. We're probably gonna have.
Mr. Mayor.
Hello,
sir.
Yeah, that's what I was
There, I
thinking.
didn't want
How are
to
you?
have a bunch of screaming kids.
We both have the same idea.
That's what I thought, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure the city will put trees there. If I was them,
Not a regular session.
they'd kind of stink after all these years, all of a sudden get kids, but
I'll wear them
it's
tonight.
for the kids.
Once I start wearing them, I have a hard time going back to
I
pants.
know, because then you get hot and
Yeah,
fast.
they can go and cool down.
Just throw on a dress like I do, it's easy.
I gotta ask the.
No, I'll pass.
I know. I was kidding. It's like my favorite work from home outfit. So easy. Roll out of bed, brush my hair, brush my teeth, throw on a dress, and I'm ready to go.
Nice.
I realized we were going to talk about the
Spoiled is
safety
what I call that.
committee meeting. I better get
Spoiled.
to the draft of the minutes.
Yeah,
So,
I quickly ran through it and I was like, well, I got what I need, I think. but
Okay.
how's it?
These 2 doors.
he's doing a lot better. He was a little shaky when I saw him, but since he's got this extended treatment now, he's eating again for like the first time in months.
So, chemo really kind of wearing them out.
Yeah, a lot.
When I had, there was many
I would
times
shut
in
it
the
off that
room.
way.
It'd be pretty rough.
Oh, is that right?
Somebody want to see what was going on.
I had really good chemo nurses. after like the first week, I was like, I don't want anybody else to go to. I made friends with them and they stuck it out. One of them ended up moving to Tennessee, but one of them was still there, so I was able to give her a hug when I got a ring bell. So yeah, it was a good planet, Christian,
Yeah, I have a friend on doing chemo for the last like year. It's terrible.
It's not to do radiation, but you go
She did radiation, but she can't do anymore. She has brain cancer, and so for whatever reason, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand all of it.
It sucks because I'm thankful I'm here, and there's a lot that went on after that, and there's no reason I should be here today, but there's lasting effects that are never gonna go away, that I still gotta deal with. So although I'm here and I'm happy and move forward, there's stuff that I will never, I'm gonna have to take certain medication forever, and I'm never ever gonna get, somewhat back to normal. I'll always kind of be there. Yeah. I'm here, my kids are here, so.
I'm glad for all that.
Yeah.
The blessings.
It is.
Okay, all right, thank you, thank you.
I got my sunglasses on, you know what that means?
You're gonna go home afterwards and mow the lawn?
No. I'm gonna water the lawn when I get home.
Okay.
I have to travel.
No, it just means we're gonna leave before the sun goes down. It's so easy in the summer.
I literally was like, did she screw up 9 pages? I don't know if I've ever seen 9 pages.
I know, right?
I was all worried about it. I was like, I went and I asked Michelle, I was like, is there anything else?
I almost emailed her like, that can't be true.
I suggested that we wait it and write it down in the minutes.
Yeah, we should.
People have to have a smaller packet, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, I don't think we've ever had more than 60, 70 pages, or any less than that. Right? Yeah,
Well, I've told several people who are interested in running for council, you need to really, honestly, you need to be prepared to read 2 packets a month, but each it can be upwards of 200 packets, 200 pages each.
that's what I've told people,
And
average
if you're
from
not
80 to 200.
Yeah, if you're not willing to do that, then you really shouldn't.
No, it's way more than I thought. You think it's just a couple meetings, a lot more than a couple, and there's a lot more reading involved and more stuff.
You know, you can tell that to people
time
who
is
are
that?
tired.
Again, 7?
What's this for you? Like you say, here's the reality.
So I'm so sorry.
It's not horrible, but it's a lot more than you think.
Yeah, I can. I'm gonna put it in.
I try to
Thanks.
prepare new counselors, but
So are you up at the end of this year? You got to
the
rerun
mayor is
that?
every 2 years. Counselors are every 4 years.
So who is,
So the 3 counselor positions are up is Clark's, because that was an appointment.
That's right.
Norman's is up for her for, Norman's.
and then Shelley?
And Shelley's up for election.
I thought Shelley had another year. I thought Norma and Shelley
Shelley
had
and
another year.
I started at the
Okay.
same
I
time.
knew Clark was,
So the 2 of you and Alonzo, and then Clark's was an appointment.
yeah, so he's got still another year, so.
It's like every 2
I
years.
just decided I will, yeah.
Yes.
Every 2
Yeah,
I
years.
wanted to wait to
years.
see who was running, because I don't
Yeah, the
want,
council position.
I've got name recognition because of Clark Kent. I don't want to just get
You should
it.
put out a ticket with Superman.
Every 2 years, there'll be
Keep
3
Creswell
counselors.
That's
Super.
right. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
But I wouldn't want to stop somebody
They don't want all
better
of our
from
terms
getting
standing
the
at the same time.
position, just
I mean,
because I
it's
have
smart.
a cool name.
Yeah, but if you want it, I think you should fight for it.
Okay,
I mean, if
Makes
you,
sense
your voice,
to
your
have
voice is
somebody who's
people
been on
you
the
want,
council for a
fight for
while.
I'm going to do it. Thank you.
Somebody, in this room that are gonna run.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
A couple more.
Oh, I've already talked to 2, and we have one here tonight.
Yes, yeah, doesn't matter.
So I'm gonna mention that tonight. Okay.
This is the way the meeting
Oh,
Kind of hit the highlights.
very cool.
All right, I'm ready.
Yep, all the points that I exclamated.
I kind of had this already kind of written up before your notes, and I was like, okay, we're on the same page.
Good evening and welcome to the Creswell City Council Work Session, June 24, 2024. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we are absent Counselor Shelley Clark, who has a work commitment tonight, cannot join us. We are absent Manager Amber in physical person, but she is here with us online. You can see Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Michelle has a respiratory illness. So I appreciate you being able to be with us, Michelle. So, Mayor's report, I have two things. First of all, 4th of July parade coming up. So I think I have Clark and Shelley and Alonzo walking for sure. The rest of you are invited to walk. And our tradition is bring your family with you if you like, bring your spouse, walk with us. I've extended the offer to commissioners, but our local commissioner, Heather Buck, will be out of town. So I think it will just be us walking in the parade. We'll have a banner that says Creswell Mayor and City Councilors. We'll walk together near the front of the parade usually. We meet at 10:30 at the northwest corner of the park, the corner nearest the elementary school. And then we'll walk down together to the elementary school, we'll do the parade loop, and we'll end up back at that northwest corner. So 10:30, 4th of July, I hope you can join me. Second one, as we've been talking already tonight, in November, we have elections all over the country and in Creswell as well. And I think that one of the tasks of counselors, we know that one of our roles is to be a spokesman for the city to our community, to let people know what's going on. One of them also is every 2 years we have elections. And I'm hoping that people will be asking you, what's it like to be on council? We have one member from our community, Joan, who is here tonight because Joan's interested in serving on city council. So what I tell people who are interested is one of the best things you can do if you're interested is start coming to city council meetings. Get a feel for what we do, who we are. In addition, as Nikki pointed out, there's the reality picture. I think it's always good to say to people, here's the reality of what it's like, here's the meetings, here's what the packets are like. This time we have this kind of packet, but most weeks it's much bigger than this. So I just want to encourage you, Caitlin is the one you need to direct people to. They need to come in, talk to Caitlin, she'll give them a packet. And by the end of August, everything needs to be completed and turned into Lane County in order to meet the September deadline. So now's the time, the next couple of months. 3 council positions are up for election, as is the mayor position. So please be out there, council members, talk to citizens, recruit, let them know what it's like, and encourage them to come to council meetings the next few months. Okay, we move on to our committee reports. Administration and Finance. Alonzo.
Thank you, Mayor, and there is no report tonight.
Public Safety Committee. Nick.
Yes, sir. So we met June 6th at 5:30. We approved some minutes, and we'll just remind everybody, National Night Out is August 6th from 5:30-ish, 7:30-ish. We do plan to have Smokey the Bear, providing there's no major forest fires, fingers crossed. I think that was a pretty big get for us, and we didn't have last year, so it's kind of neat. We do have some awesome prizes and drawings. I think we're going to go every half an hour. We're going to have Ring doorbell cameras. We've got first aid kits, lots of other fun stuff for the kids. But I think every 30 minutes we've discussed that we'll kind of give away a bunch of fun stuff, keep everybody interested. And then we'll have music. We have the duck truck. I think, pretty sure Alex has got the negotiator truck again, and he's 90% sure that we're going to have the Rook, which is basically a skid steer, an armored skid steer that can go through anything, which is going to be pretty sweet. So that's kind of exciting. We're going to have the equestrian unit, we'll have the Kona Ice dunk tank, and the super fun one is the pieing contest for our local sheriffs.
Oh, is that new?
I already got money on it, so I'm the new sheriff, Buck Bazinet, and yeah, so that one's new this year, and we're hoping it looks like that should be followed through with the event, should be pretty fun. And
What was the time?
5:30 to 7:30, August 6th,
Oh.
first Tuesday of August. And the committee, this year, we also added a mister. So Cliff got us a mister and should be running around, so hope keep everybody cool. You can run underneath it and get cooled down if it's a pretty hot day. So I keep everybody involved, and that is my report.
And that'll also be at Whole Park, correct?
Whole park, yep.
Yes, it will be fun.
Yeah.
It will be a lot of, it's always a lot of fun.
Thank you. Transportation Public Works is Shelley. Shelley's not here. I don't think there's probably a report unless, is there another member of the Transportation Committee? Is there a report? Transportation. Okay, then we're going to continue. Parks and Tree Advisory Board, Norma.
Hi, Bill Kent suggests that we paint chess and checkerboards on the tables at the Holt Park. Outhouses, the bats that are common in this area would fit well in the bat houses that we're proposing to put in. We still haven't figured out where to put them in. We need some information from Norm, from Green, to figure out where we want to put them. Somebody bought some already. I don't remember which one it was. Anyway, we already have some that were donated. Movies in the Park and Tree Committee will have a table at the Movies in the Park, which will have information on the approved tree list and the walking and biking map, and we'll have water bottles and some information from the Watershed Council. So we're going to have things that we give out before the movie starts up. And anyway, as I haven't been there yet, but many of us have, the splash pad is open, and it's people are loving it. We've got we're trying to get grants for putting the bathroom in there, but that's still in the process. It could take quite a while to get to that point. Right now, we have porta potty in there to cover for it. Anyway, that's it.
Okay.
One more thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Manager
yes.
Amberg.
Yeah, could you pass out the tree list?
Thank you. I'm glad you're there. I miss having you beside me, but I'm glad you're there.
Approved street tree. Okay, we have a Councilor Castillo?
Yeah, just a quick comment, and there's also I noticed there's a porta potty at the pump track as well, and it's much appreciated. Thank you, Manager Amber.
Want one too? Want one too?
So Manager Amber, do you have any comments or anything you want to make about what we've got now, the approved street tree list?
No, just that the Parks and Tree Board worked pretty hard on this. It took them several months and several different versions, and now it's done, and they're pretty proud of it and wanted to share it with you.
So where is this then lodged? Is this a separate document that under the Parks Board? Does this go into?
What we want to do is we want to make it as available and valuable as possible. So there will be hard copies, and we'll hand them out at the night, the movie night. We'll hand them out to people who are looking at replacing trees. We'll be handing out to developers, and we should have them on our website.
Okay.
Just a
Stacy.
comment, great job, and I just wanted to say that this list is awesome, and I really appreciate the QR codes. Being
Yeah.
somebody that's extremely outdoorsy illiterate, that's super helpful, so.
Well, it helps when you look at the name, that tells you nothing, but
Right.
you can focus on that and you can find out what it looks like.
Yeah, this is great.
It has all the information about how tall it is, how wide it is, and all that that information is crucial, but then you want to be able to look at a picture of it. I mean, is it attractive to you? Is it fit into your yard?
You
Whatever.
saved us from the research work, thank you.
Well, Stuart Samuels is essential doing that.
Nice.
He knows what he's doing, something I don't.
So Norma, can you please convey to the Parks Board the appreciation that Stacy's echoed, and I think we all feel for a document that has been, a ton of work obviously has gone into this. So please convey our appreciation to the Parks Board when you next meet.
I will do that. We are very proud of it. We worked really hard. I don't know how many months it took us, looking over it, revising it, working on it again, revising it, till it came to this form. We kind of used Eugene's tree list to get some ideas on how we wanted to change ours.
Okay,
We made it on.
thank you. All right, Airport Commission, Alonzo.
Yeah, thank you again, Mayor. No report as well for Airport Commission.
Okay, LCOG, that's me. I have no report tonight. Lane Act is Shelley. Shelley has no report because she's not here tonight. So we go to number 3, which is presentation. So, Council, I want to recommend that we switch the order of A and B here because A will require us to do some departing from our seats and going to doors, going next door, some things like that. And as you remember, when we had the sheriff's presentation for the active shooter training, we went offline at that point. So we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to ask for your consensus agreement that we do the same thing tonight. We just reverse the order. We do the food truck ordinance first. Then we break and we will shut down the live recording and we will go to the training and then we'll return back for adjournment. So does that sound good to you? Okay. So Michelle, we're gonna go to your presentation on food truck ordinance.
Okay, thank you. As you probably know, we have a food truck that likes to do business now on Oregon Avenue. It's a barbecue truck, and it is using the public right-of-way. In the past, we've had food trucks here, but they've been on private property, so we've never had a need to address it. But now that it's on the public right-of-way, it's probably a good idea to have an ordinance. And so we looked at several ordinances.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Did I go out there?
Yes.
Froze.
Yeah, so anyway, it's for your review tonight.
All right, so the first page is the summary and then the ordinance begins on the next page over.
Right.
So are there any specific things in the ordinance, Michelle, you want to call to our attention first, and then we'll just open it up for council members and questions that the council will have of you.
It seems pretty straightforward. We haven't actually done the work to recommend a fee at this point. I thought we would do that after we had ironed out all the pieces of the ordinance that you wanted to talk about. But I would go forward with any suggestions or recommendations the council may have at this time.
So I'd like to try it this way, and we can start with Stacy. Let's just go around and present. Hopefully, we've already read it through. Present your questions so that you'll just have the floor to present all your questions. Then we'll go to Norman. We'll go around, and hopefully, by the time we've got done, we've covered them all, or someone will have thought of something that Stacy maybe brought up. But we'll just kind of go around in a circle, present all that you've got. Michelle will respond, and then we'll see if there's anything that comes up at the very end. So, Stacy, do you want to go first?
Sure. For the most part, this code looks well. I'm a little concerned about the references to the city, within the city, capitalized city, and it just keeps referring to city, and I'm curious why we don't actually say the city of Creswell more specifically. I don't know if that's a big deal or not, but I just thought I'd mention that, and then I made, let's see, and also sometimes city is capitalized. I don't get that either, and sometimes it's not. So I'm not really sure what the intent of that kind of language is. And then also, on line 187, so if you go to, there's a section starting on, looks like page 9 of our packet. Line 187, it said, well, on line 182, it states no food truck permit shall be required when food truck operations are solely limited to private event catering services and when all of the following provisions are met. And on number 3, it says no payment transactions shall occur for individual orders taken by the food truck operator. And I'm curious if that's a little too fine-tuned. Like if we had somebody that wanted to have an event on their property, I suppose would it be covered under events? Is that how it would be okay for them to have food trucks selling food to their guests?
They can do it however they want. If it's on their property, we don't have any rules that govern that. This is just how we determine the difference between something that's catered and something that's not.
Okay.
Whether or not the individuals
Okay.
are paying for it as they order it, or whether or not the host is paying for it. So that's just, one of the ways we'll
Sure.
know that this is a private party, not a business.
And then my last,
Situation.
okay, that makes sense. I had a feeling it was just me misunderstanding it. So my last question is on line 84. And the only reason I'm calling this out is because I don't understand why when I click on it, it says upon failure to pay administrative fees pursuant to section 5.84.070. I had assumed that was a section in our current ordinances, but if you click that link, it takes you to the Code Library, amlegal.com. It's like American Legal Publishing for California city. And so
Yeah.
I'm confused by
That
that.
refers to section 5.84.070 in this document. If you go to the end of the document, the violations and penalties section is there. It shouldn't have been a click, it just picked that up and did whatever it wanted to. The computer did, that wasn't intentional.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. I was curious why it was linking outside of Creswell. That was, so did we model our ordinance after that city in California?
No,
Oh, okay. Okay. That's all I have. Easy peasy.
So your first
Okay.
question had to do with, go ahead, Michelle.
I was gonna go back to that. The question about using city capital,
Mhm.
that's just the way I was taught to draft papers for city council since I was, for the last 30 years is you just use capital city. But I can easily change it to city of Creswell, that's not a problem.
I don't know that I have a strong preference. I just haven't seen. It's just strange to me. It doesn't mean it's wrong. So.
No, I think we should be more clear and
Yeah.
old habits sometimes need revision, so I'm more than happy to change it.
Okay.
Well, so my follow-up on the same question, the ordinance number at the top, eventually it's going to have a number, and this is going to be an ordinance, a Creswell City ordinance. So that the reference to the city, because you said why doesn't the word Creswell in there? This is going to have a heading of Creswell City ordinance, blah, 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 whatever the number is. So then everything that follows when it refers to the city as a capitalized is referring to what's above, which is City of Creswell ordinance.
And you don't think we would have to place something under definitions to make that clear? Because I feel like we define everything, but then we don't define city, which,
But the ordinance
I understand.
heading.
Yeah, but I mean, we're operating on that people will have that basic common sense to understand that, right? And
Well,
so-
because-
yeah.
Because when they read the ordinance, it's
Right,
in
right, I
the
understand.
Creswell's ordinance
Right.
code or whatever.
Right.
So, but I'd be happy to have Michelle address that with Ross to whether that needs to be in there. Because we have tons of ordinances.
And they probably are all like this,
They
right?
probably are
Yeah,
all like
yeah,
this.
Yeah, no,
So,
it wasn't a strong feeling,
What
just something I
happened?
wanted to talk about.
I'm sorry, what happens when we send them in to be codified is they they put it into what their what do they call that? But their format. So it is reformatted when it gets published. So the only place it would show up would be in our records. But like I said, it's not a problem. Also, the other thing that will probably change is the chapter number. I just had to make up a chapter and use some numbers, but once you guys have said, yeah, let's go ahead and bring it back for a vote, I'll have Ross give me the right numbers.
Okay, Norma?
Yeah, I like the idea either in the body of it that says City of Creswell or in the title of each section, it refers to the City of Creswell so that it's clear that's what's going on. Whatever works out best, it'll happen. Whoever's codifying it will make sure that it's clear to anyone reading it.
Okay, so do you have some questions or observations from the ordinance or from
No,
Manager Amber?
No, it was all pretty straightforward as far as I could see.
Okay, let's go to Clark.
Yeah, it looks straightforward to me too. Kudos on all the legal language.
Nick?
I have one question. Would Lane County be the enforcer of like health code and cleanliness of the food truck? Or would,
Absolutely, they would have a food permit that they would have to pass, they'd have to have a handler's permit, they'd have to pass the county codes, they'd have to meet the environmental conditions. Yeah, the county does all of that kind of stuff.
okay, so it's not, we won't have to, Chelsea won't have to enforce anything like that.
No, it's just like with restaurants, you know, they do the inspections on restaurants, they'll do the inspections on the food truck.
Perfect. Well, kudos again. I think it's pretty straightforward. And I like it. Obviously, we need to keep talking about it just to make sure we get everything right, but I think it's a pretty good job.
Okay. Thank you.
Counselor Castilla?
Sure. I have a few questions, probably maybe more for clarifying, maybe one little concern. On line 62, where it says copies of all other applicable required licenses. I'm assuming they're talking about business license, correct? Just as required licenses.
Well, it would be the public health operating permit, the food handler certificate, the vehicle certificate sticker, if the seller has a permit, and then they have to have proof of liability insurance. That's what this is, just a list of the types of requirements and licenses that we would expect them to carry on the truck.
Okay, yes, so there, I don't see business license. Is that just not required?
No, we don't have a business license in Creswell.
No, but for the food truck people, they don't have to,
No.
they don't have to have a business license? Okay.
I think in Oregon, you can just be a sole proprietor if you want to. I don't think you have to actually, yeah.
Well, some cities
No.
have business licenses, and
Oh.
some cities, Creswell does not have
At the
business
city level?
license. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So Alonzo?
Yeah.
My screen just shut down on me. Okay, and somewhere in here, as I bring in my document back up, it says approved restrooms for the employees. What do they mean by approved restrooms? What do we have here in town that's an approved restroom? What qualifies?
Yeah.
Is it a box in there?
Well,
That's section, page one, that's number 150.
Thank you. And I think it gets
That's
addressed
line
later.
item 150.
okay, yeah, so,
I'm sorry, I'm back.
oh, she went.
Oh, she.
went away. Okay, yeah, so did you hear the question?
All I heard was restrooms.
Okay, yes, it says, readily available toilet washing, approved. Line 150, food trucks shall be operated within 200 feet travel distance of an approved and readily available toilet and hand washing facility. That's great, but what is an approved restroom, I guess?
It would not be a porta potty. It would be a restroom with running water and soap so that they can wash their hands and meet the health regulations.
Okay. So that's just something that they would have to work out?
Right, like if they're parked across the street from City Hall, they can use our restrooms at City Hall.
Okay.
You know, they just need to have permission. And that's standard. That's not something special we're putting on there. the food carts have to have that. Yeah.
Okay. And then line 113 and 1 through 15, just curious as to why the extra hour?
Weekends.
Yes, Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. through 9. And we have commercial zones from 8 a.m. through 8 p.m. on days Sunday through Thursday. And from 8 a.m. through 9 p.m. on days Friday and Saturday. Is that just an extra hour for the weekend?
Yeah. Just
Okay,
because people tend to be out a little later on Friday and Saturday nights, and they might want to be open till 9 o'clock.
okay. And then really the only concern I have is for our restaurants here in town. There's no language here that says they can't park right in front of their restaurant.
I agree.
Is there something that, is, I don't know, if we have maybe a designated parking spots or something. I mean, and I'm just assuming here that maybe our restaurants would not appreciate a food truck parking right smack dab in front of their restaurant.
Right.
That was the letter we got too.
Yes. That's really the only concern I have. I mean, I want to see food trucks here in town, but I think it ought to be fair to, some of our local restaurants. Only 2 in town, but maybe one day we'll have 3. But they're very well vested here in town. Unless it's okay with them.
We could, 108 says food trucks shall not operate within 50 feet of a fire hydrant or within 25 feet of a bus stop. We could probably add within 25 feet of a stick,
A brick and mortar.
restaurant.
Yes, brick and mortar.
I
Yes.
like that.
brick and mortar restaurant.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why I've been asking them to park in front of the Mexican food restaurant, is because it's not actually open.
Sure.
And so it doesn't really conflict with parking for anybody else. When they were parking a block down, they were conflicting with the library and with Pazos, but they were real nice about moving. So, yeah, we can say that. We can add that to line 109.
Or possibly maybe with consent of those restaurant owners, maybe there's some that want to partner with them. I don't know. Like, for example,
Hang on till we can just-
maybe the fudge, Bigfoot Fudge, maybe they would be just fine with it. They could partner with it, maybe they'd be okay with it parking right in front of them.
Or maybe the saloon might like to have a
Yes.
barbecue right there in front of theirs, because they do have a lot of alcohol and, they don't do a lot of food. So, yeah.
Sure, it would be great if, as long as if they're okay with it. I would just hate to see there become some sort of dispute over them parking in front of a restaurant.
Right.
Adding
Got
consent
it.
sounds like a good plan.
And that was really my only concern. Michelle, how do we make that work?
Yeah, I'll just add that to that area that says where they can't park, and I'll say unless they have permission by the owner. The operator, the restaurant operator.
Okay, thank you.
Stacy, just along the same line, otherwise I want to give mine.
No, go ahead and then I can go after you.
Yep. So, thank you, Michelle. You did a very thorough job on this. So, let's see. On line 62, Alonzo pointed out the licenses. What came to my mind was, will they need a liquor license if they plan to sell alcohol of some form out of their food truck?
I don't know if the state of Oregon allows mobile dispensing. They probably do though, because there's probably been beer trucks and things like that.
So that was just
And yeah, they
something,
would have to have a liquor license for that.
and I don't know whether that's something we want to add in there or just that we know that that may be a license they need to apply for.
I'll add it.
Okay. Then on line 72 through 75, it talks about upon applying for a food truck permit and upon applying, it goes on, it says, they shall provide a list of sites on which the food truck vehicle has been or will be stationed throughout the previous and upcoming year, as well as owner authorizations that correspond to those properties. So I thought, at first I thought, well, so if somebody comes to town with a food truck and they want to sell, and they have to pull up their, so maybe you could explain how this works, because at first I thought this was kind of onerous, that I would need to pull up my records of where I have been for the last year, because it may be multiple places, and where I will be for the upcoming year, which maybe I won't actually know where I will be, because I put down private locations. If I'm open to private catering, then I'm not really going to know. So maybe you can explain this one here.
Well, our permit is not required for private catering.
Right.
Our permit is only required for using the public right-of-way. And I think that it is a good idea to have them tell us where they've been so that we can make sure that they've been vending within the commercial area and not residential. A food truck should not be in the residential area. And then where they plan to go is also a good idea, just so that we can, make it, advise them, that's not a real good spot because of XYZ, or, that property owner has a real issue with this. Have you talked to them? Those kinds of conversations need to be done. That's part of doing the business as a food truck.
Well, then part of my confusion with this was line 75. It talks about as well as owner authorizations. That gave me then the impression that they would be parking on private property, and we would need to get authorizations from those private property owners. Am I understanding what that means, owner authorizations?
No, I think that goes back to what Alonso was talking about, that they should have authorization of the businesses that they might impact. We don't want them blocking businesses. We don't want them, if they've had a bad relationship with the business, we don't want them, out there making bad decisions again. We'd like to help guide them to their success.
Okay, well, as long as that section 72 to 75 is, understood by your staff and how they process applications, I just had some questions about it. Line number 103 through 106 talks about not using any signs, and then it says, except for those signs affixed to or painted to the food truck, which made sense to me, but then it talks about vehicles, menus, or promotional signs situated in the immediate vicinity. So then I was confused. They can't use any signs, but then they can use promotional signs or menus, and I thought of like sandwich boards and other things that would be put out on the sidewalk or someplace. They're going to put them. So I was just confused about this section.
Well, they shall not use any sign in connection with sale. So they can't put up a billboard or put signs on cars or anything like that. The only signs that they're limited to are those that are on the truck and a little, like you said, sandwich board sign that gives some information about pricing and such. And they get one of those. They don't get a whole bunch of them. They're allowed to do whatever they want on the truck itself.
Right. So I was a little confused with the language because it talks about in line 105 menus or promotional signs as a plural. Then that would give me the impression I can put multiple signs out, one on the right side of the vehicle on the sidewalk, one on the left side of the vehicle. You know what I mean?
I'll change it to a promotional sign.
Yeah, mainly I just, concerned with the intent, and can they put these on the sidewalk? Because I think somewhere in here it said they can't block sidewalk.
Right.
But they can't block right of way either, so then I was curious, where would they put these signs?
I've seen them in the planters.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, those are just my questions on that one. On item number, line number 111 and 112, it talks about food truck operators may not augment operations by setting up accessories, equipment, tables, chairs, or stools near the vehicle. What about a generator? I think I saw the barbecue one that had a generator that was out in front on the blacktop, essentially in a parking spot in front, operating with a generator.
That's allowed. As part of cooking.
Right, so I just thought that maybe I was again a little confused because equipment may not augment operation by setting up equipment, well, a generator is equipment. And if you say you can't put it near the vehicle, then I'd be saying, well, I gotta put my generator out right near the vehicle.
I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think the generator is equipment. Equipment would be things for the public, tables, chairs, stools. I think, a tent, that's what they're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the generator, which is really part of the truck.
Yeah, it's part of the operation, but it said they may not augment operations. And I mean, I work with an on-site business, and a generator is a part of our operational equipment. So just the language there in terms of operations and then equipment, what came to my mind was generators. And I saw one the other day and I thought, okay, I need to at least ask that question.
Do you want me to strike equipment?
Probably, and again, it comes down to how your staff interprets this. So, that's the problem with language. What's clear to one person isn't to the other person, but somebody has to interpret it and say to the vendor, you can do this and you can't do that. So I think I'm raising some questions and looking to you, Michelle, because you're going to draft it, we're going to approve it, and then your staff has to apply it. And if they run into application problems at some point, we'll want to review the ordinance and change it to make it clear or whatever. So, line number 133 talked about storage of the food truck only within locations approved by the Lane County Department of Public Health. So that line, again, I was confused. Does the person owns the food truck and at night they park it in their driveway? Is that a location approved by Lane County? Now we're bringing the Lane County Department of Public Health into it. And how does that relate to where they park it overnight? Are we saying you can't park it on the street?
That's part of the responsibility of Lane County. And that's something they need to get permission from them for.
The item right above, we say they can't park it on public property or public right-of-way in the city limits. So that's something they have to work out with Lane County Public Health, where they locate food trucks overnight. Is that correct? Did we lose you?
They can't leave it in the public right-of-way overnight. That's what M is, and then N just says that they have to have a location approved by Lane County Department of Public Health.
Okay, so that's something that Lane County does.
Yes.
Okay, so then line 147, 48, 49 talks about they're prohibited from vending food or food products at public parks where the city has entered into an agreement for the exclusive sale of food or food products with a particular concessionaire or vendor. Does the city have any agreements, or does this apply only to like 4th of July and maybe the tree lighting. Do we have any
Right,
agreement?
it would be a special event.
Okay. And then
Or we
item,
could tell them, no, you can't be in the city park. You have to go get vendors, like, you have to get a vendor's permit from the Chamber of Commerce.
okay. Then, items 150 to 154, Alonzo referred to this. So just to help me with my interpretation of it, so let's say we have a food truck parked out in front of the Mexican restaurant. Within 200 feet, they have to use have to have a bathroom. So that means, say, the library or the 76 or City Hall, and then they would need to make an arrangement with the owners of those facilities and get some kind of written document from them and turn it into the city?
Yes.
That's how that works?
Uh-huh.
And then part of this refers to being in the commercial zone. Does the commercial zone extend over to Dairy Queen, Dollar General on the other side of town?
Yes.
Okay, so they can they could set up over there in front, on one of those roads, Milton Road or whatever as well, as long as the 200 feet. My only thought on that was, let's say I decided to park on the road near the Tractor Supply, and the Tractor Supply becomes my place to go use the restroom. May not be 200 feet away. Cliff
You
had,
have to be within 200 feet, that's what the rules say.
okay. Cliff had his hand up.
The public right-of-way, they would have to be in a parking stall that would be affixed for a vehicle. So if it was in a bike lane, they couldn't park there. So if we're talking about Emerald Parkway, Milton, I think every one of those has a bike lane in it, so those wouldn't be allowed for parking. It would have to be in a parking stall.
Okay, good clarification. Did you hear Cliff?
Yeah, I don't know, we have bike lanes on either side of Oregon Avenue as well. I don't know if that applies here.
They're in a designated parking area though.
So if they wanted to park in a parking lot, like Tractor Supply, would that be considered private property with the permission of the owners or the
Yes.
operators? Yeah.
Yes.
Like when they have events going on there. Sales. They have, okay.
Okay, those are all mine.
Yeah, or they could be like Arturo and park in front of the Cascade. He was there for many, many years.
Okay, those are my questions, so I want to see if we have any questions from members of the public. Please tell us your name and then your question.
My name is Bill Kemp, and I patronize the food truck in question, and I have some questions about this bathroom requirement. Most food trucks that I know in various places, they're either on private property because they're near a brewery, so that's not a public thoroughfare. Bathrooms are probably provided. But your idea that they could use City Hall doesn't work on Saturdays or Sundays, so you're excluding the hours. Doesn't work after 5 o'clock, so you're limiting the time. Can't be near or in front of the library, but they're supposed to go over to the library, use the bathroom. Most food trucks have a way of cleaning the hands of the employees
Right.
because
Sinks.
they're built to operate autonomously. They don't need a public restroom. They're not open 8 hours a day. They're open a limited amount of time. So maybe some food requirement that you have to be able to wash your hands that Lane County would cover. But our requirement of trying to limit within distance of a public restroom, that's like trying to tell the customers, oh, we have to worry about you. Because they might want a restroom, but the people operating the food truck, I don't see that it applies.
Manager Amber, did you hear Bill's question, comment?
Yes. Yeah, I did. It's a common regulation that they have to be within 200 yards in order that their employees can relieve themselves and wash their hands in the bathroom, and then they have to wash their hands again when they get in the truck. That's how it works. It's not something special we're setting up. We're just following the rules.
So, Manager Amber, you just said the word 200 yards. Is it yards or feet?
Oh, it's feet, I'm sorry.
No, okay, I wanted to clarify because that would make a big difference. Just wanted to
Yeah, I
clarify.
misspoke.
Okay, now we're gonna just have council follow-up questions, things like that. Stacy?
I would like to know how we're going to assess the transportation utility fee to these food trucks and/or to the people that are hosting them.
That's something we'll have to look into.
Are we going to do it, I guess should be my question.
We will look into that.
Okay. I wouldn't be willing to vote on this until I know the answer to that, so I'll just put that out there.
Norma?
I think most food carts have this hand washing thing already covered. They have it in there, otherwise they wouldn't be able to function. It's the bathrooms that they don't necessarily have.
Okay, Manager Amberg, do you have a response to Norma?
She's correct. I don't think they contain restrooms inside the food trucks.
Okay. Stacy?
I just want to point out, we have an example of this very situation with Hot Shots. They use the bathroom in the building that's next to them. So I just wanted to just to give an example of how this works, so.
Kind of walk?
That's right.
Yes,
Even though they're closed down, they must have a key.
they must still have access, yes.
Oh, okay.
Both of the coffee kiosks have access to restrooms within 200 feet.
And then do those coffee kiosks pay the transportation utility fee?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good catch, Stacy. I hadn't thought of that question. Okay, any other council questions for right now? So, initially, Michelle, we had planned for this to come to the council for a decision in 2 weeks. And now we have some things for you to work into the ordinance again. So, question is, council, do we want to look at this in 2 weeks at a council meeting to make a decision? Or question for Manager Amber, is this something that is it necessary that we act on this in 2 weeks, or bring it back for another work session to fine tune it and then bring it at the August council meeting? Michelle, is there a timing on this?
Nope, it's at your pleasure.
Okay, council, what's your pleasure?
I think we need to look at it closer. I think we need to see the changes happen and then review it and then decide from there if we're ready to bring it to the next city council meeting after that. So
Okay.
the earliest it could come would be August, but we may not be there to have it come in August, but we'll know by the work session in July if we're going to be able to do that.
All right, other councilors?
I would agree to put it off maybe to August to make sure that Manager Amber can check on the tough fees, get the corrections made in time, and I'd also like to make sure Shelley has time to put her comments in and make sure she read it and respond back with the rest of us and have another, maybe a quick session if Michelle can get everything fixed and how we talked about, and then get a response on the tough fees, and Shelley can weigh in, and then we should be good to go.
Okay. Alonzo?
You said tough fees?
Yeah.
I thought it was permits for the.
No, the tough fees for.
So if these trucks would be paying tough fees?
Or if the properties that are letting them be on their property are paying tough fees, because everybody else is subject to that transportation fee.
Okay.
So I think that we have to, personally think that we would be doing a disservice to our local businesses by not applying that to a food truck.
Absolutely, no, that's
Yeah.
fair, that's fair. Yes, I would also, I don't think there's a big rush that we get this done right away. So we can look at it again. We might think there might be some more edits or so forth, and yeah, so like Manager Amber said, we're at our leisure. We can look at it again at the, July work session? Sure.
Clark?
Yeah, I would say that, I would agree with everybody. August sounds good to me. I think it's important to make the edits because I think reading this, maybe a lot of us felt the spirit of the law, but in legal stuff, you need to really look at the letter of the law, and it really needs to be clear and straightforward. So I agree. I look forward to seeing the changes, and then looking at it again potentially for the August session. Oh, and I have one other question too regarding the potential resolution on the fees. Would that be at the same time, and would that follow after the ordinance was created at a future meeting?
So, Manager Amber, did you hear Clark's question?
Yeah, we would recommend at the time.
All right, so council's consensus is that we take another look at this at the July work session, and then at the July work session, the council can decide whether it's ready to go on the August council meeting for a decision.
Will it need to go back to the lawyer prior to us looking at the next time or after we've approved? Or not at all?
Michelle, did you hear that question from Norma?
I didn't understand it.
Okay, our lawyer has looked at this document and approved the wording. Once we go back in and change things, do we need to go back in and have the lawyer review it again before?
Well, they're really not substantive changes, they're just modifications.
Okay,
But I do need to have Ross look at it to assign it to a place within our code. So to get that number, all the numbering correct, he's the one that does that.
okay.
And I know that on the tough schedule, that whole thing is set up with a schedule depending on the nature of the business, footprint, blah, 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 blah. So that may be something that you and Jim look into, and that was pretty detailed for every sort of business you could think of, and I'll just bet there's something for food trucks in there as well. So that may be an easy thing, but, so we'll look at it again next month. Michelle will make the edits, and then if it's ready to go, we'll put it on for the August meeting. Okay, so with that, we are going to move to item A, which we've moved to item B, which is a review of council chamber safety features and protocol. We're going to end the meeting online, but the meeting will continue as a council. So, and can we keep Michelle online as well? And end the meeting for the public at this point. The city council will